Hi, everyone, and welcome to Season 4 of the Financial Modeling Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Bernat, and this is the launch episode of Season 4, really exciting season, where we're going to be having a look at the holistic financial modeler. Really, what are all the skills you need to become a fantastic financial modeler? In Seasons 1 to 3, we spoke about the finance skills you need. You obviously need to understand the financial structure of any project or any deal that you are modeling. You also need to understand, obviously, the finance implications. You also need to understand the tool really well. You need to understand whether you're modeling in Excel or Python. You need to understand the tool and how to use it. But in Season 4, we're going to be talking about all the other little skills that a financial modeler needs that really turns a financial modeler from a good financial modeler to a great financial modeler and a great deal maker. And obviously, these skills range from storytelling to negotiating to understanding all the different legal nuances and aspects of your model. So with me today, I have the sponsors of Season 4 of the podcast. They are the founders of Full Stack Modeler, Kenny Whitelaw-Jones, Lance Rubin, and Giles Mills. Hi, guys, and thanks for joining me this morning.
Hey, Matthew. Thanks, man.
Hiya.
So Kenny, you are one of the founders of Full Stack Modeler. Why did you found a company which really looks at imparting the knowledge that financial modelers need in very much a community-based style of learning?
Thanks, Matthew, and thanks for having us on the podcast. It's great to be here. Look, I've been teaching modeling for a really long time, and what I've noticed is in every class that I teach, now I used to teach a lot of classroom-based courses, not so much in 2020 when everything was online. But what I noticed in every group that I taught was it's kind of like a normal distribution, right? For some of the people who are right in the middle of the distribution, the content was exactly what they wanted. For other people, it was too advanced and they just needed more kind of basic skills to start with, and then they could progress. And for people at the other end of the distribution, they were bored. It wasn't advanced enough for them and they wanted more. They always wanted more. And so, in a couple of days classroom training, you got to kind of pitch it in the middle, right? So that it's kind of not too hard for some people, but not, trying to keep the really advanced people on board as well. And it's always quite a hard juggling act. And any kind of modeling trainer will tell you that, and maybe any trainer anywhere, I don't know. But what I realized is that the whole kind of move to online and the kind of community platforms that are available meant that we could do something really different, which was to cater across the whole spectrum, which is, people that need to start at the real basics of Excel functionality can start there. Those that are ready to move into advanced financial modeling can start there. And those that are ready to move on to more advanced modeling and to more advanced tools and technologies can go right through that. And we've created this whole journey. So that's why I've called it the full stack, is that it's all of the skills that you need to be an effective modeler, from Excel foundations, advanced modeling, and then all the new technologies. And as Lance will likely talk about, there's been an explosion of new technologies around modeling. And like in any field, innovation is progressing really quickly at an accelerating pace, and that's true of modeling as well. And we felt there was no one place where you could deal with the modeling skills, but also get into the technologies and the visualization and all of these things that are available now. And we wanted to provide a complete journey for people to go through that they can jump in wherever they are at their current skill level. And so that's what Full Stack is all about.
And as a financial modeling enthusiast and obviously a bit of a technology nerd as well, I'm so excited about this innovation that you speak about. I'm speaking, obviously one of the guests coming up in the podcast is the Gridlines, I guess the chief technology officer, and the technology is just so awesome and so exciting and really unlocks, I think, financial modeling to move into the future. Lance, as I said, Season 4 of the podcast is about the holistic financial modeler. It speaks about all the other skills you need besides for just the technical skills that you need. Obviously, you need to understand finance. Obviously, you need to understand Excel. But you need more than that as well. You need communication skills and everything else. What are some of the skills that you think we need that we're going to be exploring in Season 4 of the podcast?
Matthew, that's a great question. And actually part of the induction phase of anyone joining Full Stack is we go through a DISC self-awareness, because I don't think you can really improve yourself unless you're self-aware. And it's something that as financial modelers, we just sort of get into our spreadsheets, get into our models and just model's done, here you go. And I don't think we understand how much we need to work on ourselves in terms of communication, in terms of the way in which we communicate, the way in which we visualize. So I think self-awareness is a key part. And we actually start with that. We actually start with disc profiling and talk about that, because if you don't understand yourself, you can't improve. Once you understand that, then you've got to look at the other areas for yourself. So it's quite customized in terms of where each person's at their level. But communication as a financial modeler is critical. Your mindset, and particularly when it comes to technology and adopting new technologies, mindset becomes a huge part of a financial modeler's skill. And that's, part of that is really embracing change, embracing new ways of doing things. So I think, mindset, resilience, creative writing is another one, which is important, because really you can build a model, but if you don't know how to communicate that and write about it, or put into a board pack, or communicate it in a meeting, then what's the value? And we always say the biggest value in a model is the decision, not the model. The model in itself is just the tool to make the decision. So if you don't know how to communicate that decision, then what's the point of learning how to model?
Really fascinating stuff there, as you say. It's creative writing, right? That's one of those things that nobody thinks about. But if I think about how many times I had to write up about a model for a credit paper, for an investment thesis, or even just to explain it to somebody, that wasn't actually going to open up the Excel document. It's actually fascinating. And you start using the thesaurus a bit, because you're realizing, geez, it's how many times can I explain something, but maybe in a different way, just to convey the message and convey what this financial model is trying to illustrate. Giles, let's talk a bit about the community. Obviously, you're heavily involved in the financial modeling community, and also talk about some maybe of the guests that we're going to be looking forward to hearing from in season 4. And obviously, the Global Excel Summit is going to be happening in a couple of weekends' time. So that's also pretty exciting for the financial modeling community.
I think it's really exciting. And actually, it sort of picks up from what we're seeing in full stack. Once you bring people together and once you start building this community, actually everybody starts to sort of learn at a faster rate, because you're sharing your knowledge and experiences. So yeah, I mean, the guest list that you've got for the podcast is really exciting. I love the fact that it doesn't really talk technically about modeling. It is all about all of those things Lance touched on, leadership as well, being in control of yourself first, and understanding how you come across and how you influence and communicate with other people. I think you've got a guest in there that's actually looking more just about your goals, your personal goals in life, so that you understand where you want to be in 5 or 10 years time. So really, really exciting guest list, I think.
And I'm so excited, and I'm loving speaking to these guests, because I think, season 1 through 3, 60 plus podcasts in, and obviously I've been so technically focused, and now I'm kind of abstracting a layer and saying, well, yeah, the technical stuff's good, but it's not everything. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to work in a team, in a deal team. You need to be convincing. You need to convince people, whether you're going to an investment forum or credit thesis or working with a project sponsor, that this project or deal is worth funding, is worth going for. So there's a lot of these different aspects out there that a financial modeler really needs to have a look at as they grow and become a successful and mature financial modeler. And as I said, even a deal maker. Kenny, Lance, and Giles, thank you so much for joining me today for the season 4 launch. Really looking forward to the season. Some fantastic guests, as you said, Giles. And thank you again to Full Stack Modeler for sponsoring season 4 of the podcast, and for being a great friend and supporter of the podcast as well.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks, Matthew. And thanks for the work that you do for the community. It's fantastic.